Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back. We are live. This is a spontaneous live because we do have breaking news of sorts. Nothing official yet, but we have reliable sources informing us on the World Wide Web that the agreement is in place for Donny van de Beek to join Manchester United, both between the clubs and between the player and Manchester United as well. So we'll be getting all the latest information on Donny van de Beek and what is going on with his transfer potentially to Manchester United. So that is why we are here today on AdamMcKola TV, United Daily Live, at this earlier time of around 7:50 p.m. Now the news and the updates have been coming in on Donny van de Beek for the last 6 to 12 hours, and there was nothing really there that had progressed from yesterday. So I thought, let me hold tight on this news. I kept looking at it, knowing that we had a video to do at 10:30, thinking, could I wait till that video at 10:30? But it has really escalated in the last 15-20 minutes with news coming through that Manchester United have agreed a fee with Ajax for the player to join the club, and have also agreed terms with the player as well, with reports out there that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's insistence and his discussions with the player Donny van de Beek over a move to Manchester United are what has swayed the club into winning his signature. So it looks like this is a move that could happen, but let's have a little bit of caution at hand because of the fact we have heard similar reports in relation to Jadon Sancho this summer. The difference here is we've not only just got those reports on the player agreeing terms with the club, we've also got reports on Manchester United agreeing a fee with Ajax as well. Now, this is something that is going to be a little bit easier than negotiating a deal for Jadon Sancho, based on the simple fact that Ajax have known that Donny van de Beek is going to be leaving this summer. He was scheduled to join Real Madrid, and that deal was sort of arranged in January. Coronavirus came in. It meant things were affected. Real Madrid pulled out of the race for his signature. They were believed to be back in this summer, but it doesn't look like that one has bared any fruits. Barcelona were believed to be in with him and in for him. And then it was reported that Spurs made an 11th hour attempt to try and sign the player as well. But Manchester United have got over the line and have agreed a deal with the player and with the club. And obviously, we have those relations between Manchester United and Edwin van der Sar. Now, those relations between United and Van der Sar means we've got a great line of communication to Ajax. Ajax are a club that aren't going to stand in Donny's way of moving. He's spoken about the Premier League on a number of occasions, and he's almost been coming out and saying, come and sign me. One of you big boys, come and sign me in the Premier League. And it looks like United are the team that have bit the bullet and signed Donny van de Beek. A fantastic player, great experience in the Ajax side, not only obviously in the Eredivisie and coming up through there with Ajax, but of course in the Champions League as well, getting to the latter stages and performing against big teams. That's what I think separates him from a lot of players. He's been able to do it in the big games, and the big games have come along, and for a team like Ajax as well. Now, he's played a number of roles. When they had Frankie de Jong and they had De Ligt, he played in a more advanced role, and obviously many people will remember him from that Champions League run where he played just in behind Tadic, I think it was, who was up top, and he kind of played in that number 10 role. I don't foresee him having that position for Manchester United. Now, he will obviously be able to occupy an attacking midfield role and play in those positions of the pitch, but Manchester United have Bruno Fernandes to do that, and I believe he will be used in more of the 6 and the 8 positions. He has the intelligence to be able to play that 6 position, although it's probably not the most robust of holding midfielders, if you wish, and he is someone that likes to move forward and manipulate space fantastically well. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He can do the rough bits, he can do the bits on the edge of the box, but he can also create, he can also score goals too. And at 23 years old, £36 million is the fee that's being reported, with €40 million up front from Manchester United, potentially rising to €45 million. €40 million up top is 36 million, so potentially rising to £40 million. And that value in the market isn't really there at this moment in time. You don't get players of the quality of Van de Beek for this kind of money. Obviously, Thiago Alcantara's reported to be available for €30 million as well. Another absolute snip on the market. And when you look at the prices that are available for the likes of Donny van de Beek, for Thiago Alcantara. You can maybe understand why Manchester United have plumped for this option rather than going for Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish was linked with a move to Manchester United, and it looked like maybe Aston Villa have priced him out of a move to the club. Now, I still think you could fit Donny van der Beek and Jack Grealish into the same squad at Manchester United, even if you sign Jadon Sancho. I think we need to have the room there to be able to build a squad so that we've got 2 11s. When you look at other teams, and when you look at Manchester City, and you look at these teams that we're going to be hopefully competing with in the Champions League, when you look at them, they've got players in all positions, and they've got 2, 3, 4 players in all positions. You don't hear them saying, well, actually, let's not sign Bernardo Silva, or let's not sign Riyad Mahrez, or let's not sign, because we've got other players there, Raheem Sterling. Like, they don't say that. We could still fit these players into the team. Obviously, though, it's come down to money this summer, and it's come down to finances this summer. Now, Manchester United are in a position where we want to get Jadon Sancho. He's our priority. We're hearing this all the time. Christian Falk was today talking to the Beautiful Game podcast and discussed how Sancho wants the Manchester United move. Now, that Jadon Sancho move, I'm still confident that that move will happen. But what we also have to be aware of is the fact that Manchester United are working with a budget of, let's say, 120, 130, 40 million pounds, plus whatever we make off sales. So let's say that's what Manchester United have. So United are now being forced in a position where we're probably going to have to give like 100 million, 90 million pounds up top for Jadon Sancho. They're not going to accept a deal which is broken down like the Nicolas Pepe deal to Arsenal. They're not going to accept that kind of deal. So United have to give most of their transfer budget up for Jadon Sancho. So with that in mind, United are probably thinking, well, we can't go in now for Jack Grealish, who would cost 60 million, 50, 60 million at this moment in time. So let's bring in another central midfielder. We need depth in those midfield areas. It is a weird one because you've obviously got McTominay, Fred, Matic, Pogba, Bruno, and now Donny van der Beek. But we need strength in depth. And also, Donny van der Beek is better than McTominay. He's better than Fred. And at this moment in time, he's a better asset to have than Nemanja Matic. Obviously, I think Nemanja Matic would play that holding role and would do that role a lot better in some games because of his experience and his maturity in that position, and because he's more of a natural fit in that holding role. But when you look at Donny van der Beek and where he's played for Ajax this season, more often than not, he's been in central midfield or a deeper lying position. He's a 6 or an 8. He's not a number 10. So people that are coming out saying he's a number 10, he's gonna be, you know, in that position where Bruno is. He can pop up in those areas, but he's not going to be playing in Bruno's position, in my opinion. Maybe if Bruno's rested or Bruno's out, but that's where Donny van der Beek will give us that fluidity and the ability to play him in 6 or play him in 8 or play him further up the field. You get that ability to rotate with your midfield, and we've saw, you know, when we've been relying on just Matic and Pogba in behind Bruno, we've suffered because we've not been able to play them week in, week out, game in, game out. So we need to be able to change things up a little bit. And this man surely brings in that class. And at 23 years old, £36 million, potentially rising to around £40 million, it's a deal worth making. And he won't be on a whole massive wage either, which is another good reason to bring him in. And another reason why this deal has probably happened quite quickly. Jerome T. Green says, getting Adam happy about the deal with a super chat. Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted about it. A fantastic player, and one that will definitely add to Manchester United and the quality that we need. Jesse says, think Van der Beek, Bruno and Pogba can play together. Yes, I do. In certain games, in a 4-2-3-1, I think you can play Van der Beek, Pogba, and then play Bruno further up, or even in a 4-3-3. Obviously, there'll be some games, let's say Liverpool away, Chelsea away, you know, those kind of games, Manchester City away, where you probably think, let's bring in Nemanja Matic. But it now means you don't have to play Nemanja Matic week in, week out. You can rest him and rat him up in cotton wool. Zachary Purvis with another super chat says, prove to me Dortmund asked for more up front after we agreed a fee and all the details. This happened the same as that. 24 hours and it is finished. This one looks like a deal that's very easy to make happen. Now let's have a look at just what has been reported today, because there has been a lot. But first up, we've got another super chat from Lewis McKinnon, who says 85 mil for Bruno and Van der Beek combined. Leicester wanted more than that for Maddison. Why do you think there's a premium on English players? Obviously, you got Brexit coming in, so that's going to affect things in terms of visas and being able to get players to come into the clubs, but also we just know Premier League clubs selling to each other, there's always a premium attached to it, and especially when Manchester United come in. But you're right, we're paying around £46 million, was it, plus add-ons for Bruno, around 36 million. Like, that's less than what we paid for, or just over what we paid for Harry Maguire. Absolutely incredible. And when you look at the calibre of player that we're bringing in as well, it's madness. But let's take a look at these reports that have come in today. Again, thank you to Man United Zone and United Report for being able to compile these. I see them all flying through on the timeline. I can never find them all at the same time when I want to look at them for this show. But we've seen today that Donny van de Beek was absent from AFC Ajax's squad to face Union Berlin today. They had another friendly. And then we heard ESPN were reporting Donny van de Beek represents a good opportunity for United in this summer transfer window. He's in the right age bracket, wants to move, and his price isn't extortionate. And then we heard reported in Spain that Donny van de Beek had told his Ajax teammates that he will be joining Manchester United and not Barcelona. He will travel to Manchester next week to complete the deal. The option for Van de Beek seems to be the most convincing one from United for Ajax and the player himself, even though Ronald Koeman wanted to sign him for Barcelona. Then we heard from Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United are hopeful of signing Donny van de Beek. United are in touch with his agents and believe they've got a good chance because of the relationship with Van der Sar. And that continued and it continued. And then we heard United were closer. And then, about an hour ago, Fabrizio Romano tweeted that Manchester United board know that Donny wants to join the club. He's ready to open talks with United on personal terms. Donny knows his agents are in contract with the club by weeks. An official bid to Ajax is still to be submitted. And then, an hour ago, we heard Donny van de Beek is close to securing a dream transfer to Manchester United. Ajax have reached an agreement with Manchester United, say sources close to the player. Then the Telegraph, the ones that initially broke this story yesterday in Holland, came out and said Donny van de Beek will leave Ajax for Manchester United. He will sign a 5-year contract and the transfer fee is 45 million euros, including bonuses. So 40 million euros up front. The paperwork and the medical to follow. Ajax will receive around 40 million euros guaranteed from Manchester United for Donny van de Beek, and he has told his friends in Amsterdam that Solskjaer's determination to sign him was the key factor in his decision. Donny was impressed by the vision Solskjaer described to him about the direction the United are going in, and Tottenham failed with an 11th hour bid for Donny van de Beek. Matt Judge moved to seal an agreement after being alerted to Tottenham's attempt to hijack a deal. So that is how much it has escalated in the last hour or so in relation to Donny van de Beek. We're hearing Manchester United have agreed terms in a 5-year contract with the player, and that we've agreed a fee with Ajax for 40 million euros up front with a further 5 million euros in add-ons as well. But it's a guaranteed 36 million pounds for Manchester United to pay Ajax for Donny van de Beek, which I think represents fantastic value for money. Someone else that also represents fantastic value for money, and it was reported by Christian Falk earlier today, that Manchester United are also in for Thiago Alcantara, who's available and on the market for around 30 million euros, so around 25 million pounds or something like that. An absolutely incredible bargain on this transfer market, and it seemed like it was destined for Liverpool. But Liverpool have obviously had issues with paying transfer fees in this summer. They were unable to pay the 50 million to get Timo Werner to the club, and now they're even unable to pay this 30 million euros so far. Or it looks like they might have to get rid of Gini Wijnaldum before they can make the signing of Thiago Alcantara. Gini Wijnaldum's been linked with a move to Barcelona instead of Donny van de Beek. So to me, I don't think United are genuinely after Thiago Alcantara. It feels like maybe we have inquired about him, but it does feel like his move to Liverpool is agreed. Liverpool are trying to sort out the funds. They're going to sell Gini Wijnaldum. That's been held up a little bit. Once that deal goes through, the Thiago Alcantara deal will go through, and then everyone will say how United got snubbed by Thiago. Similar to the way the Gabriel, Lille and Arsenal deal went down. United weren't really in for him. Then we got dragged in at the end, and the deal, was already done to Arsenal. So you see how these things go down. I'm not overly confident about the Thiago Alcantara one. That's not to say I wouldn't want him at the club. I really would. And if you bring in Thiago and you bring in Donny van der Beek, your midfield issues are sorted, aren't they? You don't need to sort out anything there anymore. But I don't think that's going to happen. It looks like Van der Beek is the one that will happen for Manchester United. A £36 million deal as well for the club. I think that represents an absolute bargain. Ross Murphy with the super chat says, is De Beek the start of Manchester United's summer transfer window? It looks like it. It looks like it. And to me, that suggests that United have already got a deal agreed for Jadon Sancho, or know what the price is and know that we're going to have to pay up a certain amount. Because otherwise, I think we would have waited for Jack Grealish. But there is also talk that United are still interested in Jack Grealish, and that one isn't over. So we'll wait and see what happens. But the MEN earlier reported now, I know, not very reliable, but they earlier reported Manchester United are interested in Jack Grealish as well as Donny van der Beek. Now, whether we could make that Jack Grealish signing, I don't think so. I don't think we'll have the funds there to make it happen unless Aston Villa are going to take Sergio Romero and Diogo Dalot and, I don't know, Chris Smalling or something stupid like that, which isn't going to happen. I don't see Jack Grealish ending up at Man United. Donny van der Beek, though, it looks like that one could be happening. We're just waiting for the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. We're just waiting for official reports on that. But we are hearing from reports from Fabrizio and from out of Holland, which are fairly reliable, that Manchester United have agreed a fee for €40 million up front, a further €5 million in add-ons, so that would be £36 million up top for Manchester United for Van der Beek, and a 5-year deal has been agreed with the player for him to join Manchester United, and he'll be in Manchester next week to complete the signing, and he's had a talk with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over joining the club as well. So that's the latest on the potential deal with Donny van der Beek. Let us know what you guys are thinking about in relation to Donny. Do you think it'd be good for Manchester United? Evora says Van der Beek will be good for United. David says now we need to look at the defence. I think, yeah, getting someone in midfield, getting someone in on that right wing spot, Jadon Sancho, and then getting in a centre half would represent a satisfactory window for Manchester United. I still think we need one or two more in the squad. Don't kill me, Jack Grealish maybe, and something else, maybe a striker or something. But I'd be happy if we managed to get Jadon Sancho, Donny van der Beek, and a centre half in. I'd be more than pleased with that deal if we were able to do that business in this transfer window. It looks like, though, we could just have this one done though, and we will find out more in the coming hours, I'm sure. Remember, we'll be live at 10:30 p.m. With the latest Manchester United news, so make sure you're joining us for that. Make sure you're getting your comments in, you're liking, you're sharing, subscribing, super chatting, joining if you can too, as we hear reports Manchester United have agreed a deal with Ajax for Donny van der Beek, with a minimum £36 million going to Ajax, and reports Van der Beek has agreed terms until 2025. We still got to wait for the player to arrive in Manchester and for official confirmation on this, but these are what the reliable sources are saying at this moment in time. Martin thinks it's a cheaper alternative to Jack Grealish, and it does possibly look that way, although for me Jack Grealish is more of an 8, a 10, and he can play on the wide areas. Donny van der Beek is more of a 6 or an 8. So I still think you could fit them both into a squad, but that would require Manchester United getting rid of Mata, Pereira, maybe even Jesse Lingard, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do all of that business and have enough funds to make that deal happen. It just doesn't, because if you look at it, we need to bring players in anyway. We need more than 2-3 players. Do you know what I mean? We definitely do. Jim says, serious question, do you think Grealish is the business? I'm not convinced. I am. I'm a big fan of Jack Grealish, and I'm delighted with signing Donny van der Beek. I think he's a great player. But when I was asked who would I rather have, I was saying Jack Grealish because I'm a big fan of his and I wanted him to see him join Man United. Now I hope we can get both of them, but probably unlikely. Nevertheless, you know, Donny van der Beek represents a great bit of business for Manchester United, and as long as we get the other bits of business done that we need to do as well, I'll be happy with that. So there we have it in terms of the latest on Donny van der Beek. An agreement in place with Ajax is the latest report. Remember, if anything else breaks, we will be live here on AdamMcKola TV, and we will be back at 10:30 p.m. today. So make sure you join us for that, where hopefully we'll have some more news, maybe even something official. Until then, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. I'm out of here.